In a market of bears and bulls, one thing is very important की you can't be ignorant. जर तुमकां सगळ्यांक खबर आसतलें की कोविडच्या टायमार the market from 50,000 crashed to 30,000 and then came back to and touched 60,000. I think in this entire ball game, you have to look at the economy and more importantly the markets, how they are trading. So ह्याच मुद्द्याचेर आणि चड उलोवपा खातीर हांवें असो एक स्पेशल गेस्ट हाडलो. म्हणजे म्हाका दिसलें की when I was watching some of the business televisions, there was Rakesh Jhunjhunwala and all the likes of the big bulls. But then again, I had a friend of mine here in Goa, जेका म्हाका obviously तुमकां brief करपाचें आसलें on stock markets and how to look at the market and obviously take some very important decision if you want to enter the market. I have with me a very good friend of mine, Datta Naik, who is a financial market trader. Datta, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, Rohit Bab.
तुमकां सगळ्यांक आतां ऑब्वियसली जेन्ना आमी वी आर एंटरिंग दिवाली, सगळ्यांक बरेचशे जे फायनान्शियल जे एंट्री आसा किंवा आमी न्यूज पळयता किंवा टेलिव्हिजन पळयता तांकां ऑब्वियसली समवट 2078 हें ऑब्वियसली आयकलां आसतलें. लेट मी स्टार्ट द बॉल रोलिंग ऑन दिस व्हेरी ऑस्पिशियस डे वेन एवरीबडी इज डुईंग मुहूर्त ट्रेडिंग. दत्ता, म्हाका एक सांग, वॉट इज दिस समवट 2078? हाऊ इम्पॉर्टंट इट इज फॉर द मार्केट?
So basically, it is the financial year how it works. त्या भाशेन. And looking at the last financial year, which was very much volatile. त्या भाशेन the volatility index जो आशिल्लो reached almost 50 to 60 the index, and there was a huge crash. But त्याच बरोबर the recovery which happened in the year 2021, which was massive. So people who have entered like probably in 2020 in November bin ashe, they must have gained huge profits. And secondly, who were there in the March 2020, त्यांच्यानी होल्ड करून दवरलें, तर होल्ड करून whatever they were त्यांचो पोर्टफोलियो आशिल्लो त्यांच्यानी होल्ड करून they made a tremendous return.
Usually financial terms and व्हडले आमी जागन्स उलयता. ऑब्वियसली bear and bull is something that we always refer to, but म्हाका दिसता ह्या कार्यक्रमाच्या माध्यमांतल्यान सगळ्यांक अवेअरनेस जावची आणि मोर इम्पॉर्टंटली अंडरस्टँड जावचें मार्केट कशें त्या खातीर. फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल सांग म्हाका दत्ता की हाऊ डज दिस मार्केट वर्क? युअर इकॉनॉमी इज वन साइड which operates independently and also it reflects on the market. Is it both on same lines, parallel असता काय? Is it something different that happens at the market? Because not all the companies are listed in the markets, maybe Sensex म्हणा किंवा NSE म्हणा, BSE म्हणा किंवा Nifty.
Correct. So कितें जाता, when we are talking about the overall market, जशें तुवें म्हटलें companies, the top 50 companies, that is Nifty, mostly major जेन्ना हांगा कितें movement जालो न्ही, काय it automatically deviates in the markets as well. So the correlation ज्या भाशेन म्हणटात आमी, so correlation with the companies and the market is directly proportionate. त्या भाशेन. So if at all there is effect for the company, it will directly be in the market, and if at all it is in the market directly, it will come to the common man as well, whoever is holding the stocks.
Okay, and what are the reasons basically which affects? Obviously, I mean, 2020 like because it was COVID, it came down crashing. But otherwise, what are the reasons which hamper the movement of these companies which are listed in the market basically?
So as you use the words bulls and bears, so basically the bulls are the people who buy heavily, and the bears are the people who sell into the market. So yeah, buying and selling jenna jata, for each buyer there is a seller and each seller there is a buyer. Ashi jenna transaction jata, tenna there is a market movement. And when you see the charts, the green आणि red candles जे जाता पळय, ते ह्या सगळे बायिंग आणि सेलिंगा खातीरूच जातात.
ओके, आणि जर विचारीत जाल्यार तुका आय रिमेंबर when I was growing up, I met a gentleman who said if you're not doing anything, you should be in the stock market. This was maybe way in 90s or maybe early 2000, and he said that you have to just maybe do a little research and invest your money wisely. If I had taken that advice, I think I wouldn't have been sitting here or maybe sitting on the other side and maybe advising others. But I didn't took that advice. I just want to understand how has this market evolved. म्हणजे आम्ही पळयताले it was 10,000 odd when it was maybe early 90s or mid 90s and ताच्या नंतर 2000, and I suddenly after the crash it has bounced back so heavily. Maybe somebody would have told me it will touch 60,000, I wouldn't have believed. I would have said ki market will correct, but it's been a huge exponential jump that has happened.
Absolutely. So मातशें तुका हांव हिस्ट्रीन व्हरता पयलीं. So when it comes to the Indian markets, when we are talking about the BSC, which is the oldest exchange, it started in the year 1875, followed by Calcutta Exchange आणि Madras Exchange. कलकत्ता आणि मद्रास एक्सचेंज बंद जाले अँड नाव इट इज मोस्टली फूल फ्लेज जे चालू आसा इज BSC एंड NSC. टॉकिंग अबाउट ट्रेडिंग वॉल्यूम्स जे जाता इट इज मॅक्झिमम हॅपनिंग इन NSC compared to BSC.
Okay, it is more in NSC than BSC?
Yes, it is more in NSC.
Okay.
त्या भाशेन because it was lately started in the year 1992. So the volumes जे आसा ते NSC चेर चड आसता त्या भाशेन. The evolution in the market has happened so much. म्हटल्यार जस्ट तुवें म्हटलें की त्या टायमार प्रॉब्ली 10 years बॅक समज तुवें हें केल्लें इन्वेस्ट केल्लो जाल्यार इट वूड हॅव ग्रोन एक्सपोनेन्शियली. बट फायनान्शियल इंडिपेंडन्स जे आसा पळय ते युजली द सेम वे यू इग्नोर्ड इट देर आर मेनी पीपल हू इग्नोर इट. फायनान्शियल लिटरसी जी आसा फॉर दॅट मॅटर इंडियन म्हणनाका गोंयान सुद्दां म्हणनाका इट इज व्हेरी लेस. सो लोकांक जाणीव जावपाक जाय की हाव द फायनान्शियल मार्केट वर्क्स अँड देर इज अ इनॉर्मस ऑपॉर्च्युनिटीज इन द मार्केट. पोटेन्शियल ह्यूज पोटेन्शियल म्हणजे तुम्ही इमॅजिन करपाक शकना इतलो थंय आसा. इट्स ह्यूज. सो आय रिक्वेस्ट एवरी वन दॅट even a small amount, whatever you can, please do invest in the market and see yourself growing.
Yeah, be the growth story.
Absolutely.
Along with the country.
Yes.
दुसरी गजाल हांव तुका विचारतालो की obviously I mentioned 90s maybe, and that time or maybe even early 2000 we used to hear maybe Karvi किंवा असे ट्रेडिशनल लीलाधर and all this traditional names that were in the market were into brokerage किंवा who would handle your demat accounts. Off late I have seen is सगळे जाण तुम्ही आता obviously वर्ल्ड कप पळयता आसतना आणि you see a lot of advertisements of this stock broking or app based brokers or high tech I would say. This evolution has obviously helped a lot of young brigade, young blood to pump in the money in the market. हे जो shift असा पळय it's good for it's healthy for the market and people.
Absolutely. So brokerage तुवें ज्या भशेन म्हटलें पळय previously probably 10 years back it was mostly brokerage like Karvi brokers आशिल्ले, HDFC आशिल्ले, ICICI direct and the charges जे आसताले पळय for per lot म्हणनाका or buying a certain share were huge. The evolution came when Zerodha took over the market as a broker. Because per lot almost 20 rupees पर्यंत लागतात for buy and sell it is 20 rupees. So after looking at Zerodha there were other brokers like Upstocks and हे सगळे हे जाले. So there was a huge evolution which Zerodha got. And brokerage अशी आसा की it is not only that brokerage मागीर STT tax असता. There are lots of taxes which is charged by SEBI. SEBI is Central Security Exchange Board of India. So हे जे चार्जीस आसा पळय ते खूब कमी जाले आतांचे ब्रोकर्स. पयलीं इट वॉज इमेन्स. इट वॉज नॉट पॉसिबल टू डू ह्यूज ट्रेड्स बिकॉज द टॅक्सीस वर ह्यूज. बट आतां इट्स नॉट लायक दॅट. आतां खूब बरें जालां.
इज इट ऑल्सो बिकॉज ऑफ ट्रान्सपरन्सी? बिकॉज पळय कशें आसलें बिकॉज ऑफ दीस इंटरनेट एंड डिजिटल एज पयलीं इट यूज टू बी मोर ऑफ पेपर. यू हॅड युअर stocks in your hand. Now it is dematerialized, it is there digitally. That has evolved over the course of time. Obviously due credit to the SEBI and the governments over the course of time. Also all these new players like as you said Mr. Kamath entered with Zerodha and he changed the game and there was a lot of transparency which happened. And I think if somebody changed the game plan, I think it is Zerodha and there a lot of people grow mana ki Upstocks followed. How do you see this?
Absolutely. So transparency जेन्ना म्हणटा पळय आमी तेन्ना द फिजिकल शेअर्स जे आसताले इट यूज टू बी व्हेरी हॅक्टीक प्रिवियसली. त्या टायमार मोस्टली कोण जाणा इट इज कॉल्ड द BSC रिंग. BSC रिंगान जे ट्रेडिंग जाताले इट वॉज लायक केओस. सगळो लोक बोवाळ मारताले टू get that correct price आपल्याक जाय त्या भाशेन. फिजिकल शेअर्स वर इशूड. इट वॉज अ हॅक्टीक प्रोसेस. बट नाव ड्यू टू डिजिटलायझेशन खूब इजी जाला प्रोसेस. विथ वन क्लिक तुमकां बाय सेल इमेन्स नंबर ऑफ लॉट्स घेवपाक मेळटा. सो डिजिटलायझेशन इज द नेक्स्ट बीग थिंग. अँड खूप बरें जालां.
काही वर्षा पयलीं the people who were in their higher age, maybe 40s or 50s, would be into the stock market, looking after maybe तांकां कंपनीचे shares मेळटाले किंवा just taking care of those things. Today a lot of people are in the market, which is a great sign to see. I'm just wondering की that 2020 जो म्हणटा आमी वर्स जे ऑब्वियसली पॅन्डेमिकान हिट जालें, there was a lot of financial crunch that happened, but it also got a lot of new investors. No doubt, because of the improvements that SEBI has done and all this, people going digital way, Zerodha म्हणा किंवा बाकीचे सगळे जाण, all this course correction has happened and a lot of people have betted their money now in maybe a long term or maybe a short term play and are gaining over a course of time. How do you see COVID and how do you see the year 2020 when people have actually burned their cash right from maybe 50 odd thousand to 30,000 that we saw?
सो मातशें आमी इंडियेच्या भायर समज गेले न्ही, वेन वी टॉक अबाउट US मार्केट्स, तेंचो डाव जोन्स आसा इंडेक्स. सो जस्ट लायक हाव वी हॅव आर निफ्टी, तेंचो डाव जोन्स आसता आनी डाव जोन्स हॅज बीन डुईंग लायक वर्ल्ड वॉर 1 पासून तेंचो चालू आसा. US being a developed nation, usually there are two criterias developed nation जावपा फाटी. One is the technology advancement and second the participation of people in the financial markets. These are two things. आता थंय कशें आसा, थंय मोस्टली 50% of the population is invested in the markets, whereas when we talk about India it is only 3%. Okay, coming back to your question, in the year after 2020, in March 2020 till date almost 4 crores नवे डीमॅट अकाउंट ओपन जाल्ले आसा, which got our figure from 3% to 4% पर्यंत जाल्लो आसा. But still there is a huge growth. From 4% we are supposed to grow till 50% पर्यंत, just like US. And that is when we will be a developed nation. So as I've told you, there are two things. One is the people participation in the market and second is the technological factor. Of course technological factor म्हटल्यार आमचो EV मागीर artificial intelligence हे जातलेंच, but even the participation in the financial markets is important as
so
well.
Technology will evolve, but it is more importantly to invest at the right time, right place, maybe in the right script that you say usually in the stock market terms. म्हाका आनीक विचारूंक जाय की we have seen markets at 60,000, also Nifty at maybe 18,000. Where is this Indian economy heading more importantly as we run up?
So as I've told you, Indian economy will always grow. So in the coming years, मुखार हांव ज्या भशेन पळयतां, from 18,000 it will definitely go to 1 lakh in the coming years. So it is my humble request for all the investors, please invest a small amount, whatever it may be, and be a part of that growth.
Okay, आणि एक म्हणटा की risk is something like you are speculating that market will reach to 1 lakh, but then again it is something that you don't have anything here, you're just speculating things. बरेचदा खूप जाण म्हणटा की rather than going directly in the stock market arena, people prefer the mutual fund route. How things are different with respect to mutual fund and a stock market, and people who are have a risk appetite, where should they head?
सो एक नो नथिंग इन्व्हेस्टर जेन्ना म्हणटात पळय, इट इज ऑलवेज एडवायजेबल फॉर दॅट पर्टिक्युलर पर्सन टू इदर park their money in mutual funds via SIP or index fund as well. But when we are talking about index fund, tenso growth rates, because it is in basically invested in the Nifty itself, index fund. So growth rate tentatively around 8 to 12% also asta. But in mutual funds, it's somewhere close to around 15 to 18%. Like depends on what mutual fund you're planning to take. Then again there are many options like bonds. When we are talking about direct stocks, तेन्ना you need a bit research. तुका research करपाक पडटली regarding that stock. So you need to look at the fundamentals of the stock, the management पळोवपाक पडटलो, the year on year तेंचो growth पळोवपाक पडटलो, the price to earning ratio. So there are various things. So if a investor doesn't know this or cannot take time हें करपा खातीर सो ही कॅन गो फॉर पॅसीव फंड्स लायक म्युच्युअल फंड ऑर इंडेक्स फंड्स.
ऑल्सो आनी एक इम्पॉर्टंट गजाल इज दिस इन्फ्लेशन आणि प्रायस रायज जे सत्य आमी आतां पळयता हाऊ डज दिस इम्पॅक्ट द इकॉनॉमी अँड मोर इम्पॉर्टंटली द मार्केट्स.
ऑफकोर्स सो इन्फ्लेशन जशें म्हणटा आमी म्हारगाई जी आसा इट इज ग्रोईंग एट 6% पर एनम वीच मिन्स 100 रुपयाची वस्त जी आहा ती फुडल्या वर्सा म्हटल्यार 106 रुपीज जातली. सो सपोजींग 100 रुपीज तुमी आयज तुमच्या बँक अकाउंटार आसा जो इंट्रस्ट रेट तुमकां मेळटा इज ओन्ली 3 to 4%, वीच इज नॉट इवन बिटींग द इन्फ्लेशन. सो यू हॅव टू बी इन द मार्केट, यू नीड टू सर्च instruments which will give you more than that, more than 6%, so probably 12% as we spoke in mutual funds त्या भाशेन. सो तेन्नाच we can beat the inflation. इन्फ्लेशन म्हणटकर आमी म्हणटात की इन्फ्लेशन, प्रायस हायक, पेट्रोल वाडलें, कांदे वाडले, बट नो वन इज टॉकिंग अबाउट कंज्युमर पावर देंवता हें कोण उलयना. सो इन्फ्लेशना खातीर कंज्युमर पावर सुद्दां देंवता. सो जो तुमच्या बँक अकाउंटान पयसो आसा इट इज नॉट रियली वर्किंग फॉर यू, इट इज नॉट ग्रोईंग. सो यू हॅव टू बी इन द फायनान्शियल मार्केट्स टू फायट इन्फ्लेशन अँड grow yourself.
What are the different types of options that are available when you want to enter a market? How do you approach this?
So sector fund सुद्धा असता. So sector fund is basically रियल इस्टेट सेक्टर म्हणनाका जावं मेटल सेक्टर और ऑटोमोबाईल सेक्टर, बट इट इज ऑलवेज एडवायजेबल टू कीप युअर पोर्टफोलियो डायवर्सिफाईड. इट शूड बी डायवर्सिफाईड अँड यू शूड गेन. समज आता एक फॉर एक्झाम्पल निफ्टी मेटल और रियल इस्टेट इट इज नॉट वर्किंग, युअर एंटायर पोर्टफोलियो विल बी इन नेगेटिव्ह. तुका आनी ऑप्शन ना. सो वन्स यू हॅव अ पोर्टफोलियो लायक मल्टी कॅप, समज तुजे कडेन एक पोर्टफोलियो आसा वे यू हॅव डायवर्सिफाईड ऑल युअर स्टॉक्स, तेन्ना मागीर द रिटर्न्स इवन इफ एक स्टॉक सुद्दां हें जालो एवरेज आउट करपा खातीर दुसरो स्टॉक आसता वीच वील गिव यू द बेनिफीट. सो ओवरऑल पोर्टफोलियो तुमचो वील ऑलवेज ग्रो इन ग्रीन.
ओके. आणि हांव इम्पॉर्टंट क्वेश्चन विचारता बिकॉज बरेचदा म्हणटा आमी की जेन्ना 30,000 असले तेन्ना लोकांक भंय दिसलो की आनीक तो पडत गे मार्केट, सो लोकांनी इन्वेस्ट करूं ना. आयज जेन्ना 60,000 आसा तेन्ना आयज खंय तरी परत करेक्शन जावन सकयल आयला. आतां लोकांक परत भंय दिसता की 60,000 वयल्यान सकयल कोसळत गाय, देर मायट बी अ करेक्शन. इज इट सेफ or unsafe, and how does one approach towards building a portfolio?
सो कशें आसा मार्केट जर कोण म्हणटा पळय आय कॅन प्रिडिक्ट द मार्केट, इट इज एब्सोल्युटली रॉंग. प्रिडिक्ट करपाक मेळना. इट इज इम्पॉसिबल, करपाकूच मेळना. मार्केट पडटलो ना पडटलो. सो द रायट टायम टू इन्वेस्ट इज टुडे. कितें तें आयज. यू स्टार्ट विथ इफ एट ऑल यू डुईंग SIP लेट से ती आयज कर. आनी समज मार्केट पडलो सुद्दां न्ही जाल्यार यू वील बी एवरेजींग इट डावन. तुका ते युनिट्स जे आसा तुजे म्युच्युअल फंडाचे जे कमी प्रायजार मेळटले. सो इट इज ऑलवेज एडवायजेबल वेन एवर यू इन्वेस्टिंग यू इन्वेस्ट इन नाव, स्पेशली फॉर म्युच्युअल फंड्स. वेन वी आर टॉकिंग अबाउट स्टॉक्स देन यू हॅव टू डू अ बीट रिसर्च आनी यू हॅव टू वेट फॉर द मार्केट टू कम डावन आनी तेन्ना मागीर एंटर करपाक मेळटा. बट जशें हांवें म्हटलें यू नीड अ बीट एक्सपिरियन्स एंड लर्निंग फॉर इन्वेस्टिंग इन डायरेक्ट स्टॉक्स. सो म्युच्युअल फंड एज अ नो नथिंग इन्वेस्टर ऑलवेज बेनिफीट.
आम्ही बरेचदा म्हणटा की व्हडले व्हडले कॉर्पोरेट हाऊसेस आर लिस्टेड ऑन द स्टॉक एक्सचेंजेस. Tata, can you just reveal some of the names who are maybe Goan companies or maybe operating in Goa who are listed so that we can connect to this story?
Goa Hotels is one stock from Goa. Apart from that, I
think Delta Corp, which operates
Delta Corp asa, casinos, yes, casino business.
But I think one of the Dempo groups, I think Hindustan Foods, if not mistaken. Goa Carbon is
listed. Correct.
As we go through this Muhurta trading, if somebody wants to keep a horizon of say 1 year or maybe 5 years or 10 years, what are the sectors that one should look? बरेचदा म्हणटा की आमी आता तो सेक्टर बारीक आसात, बट मे बी 5 ते 10 वर्सान हो सेक्टर खरोच विल आउटशाइन अँड आउटपरफॉर्म every other sector that is available, and obviously you will maybe try to become a millionaire.
Of course. So sector what you can find for the next 1 year is automobiles and power sector. So probably the evolution of EVs ज्या भाशेन introduce जातले, it will boost that segment, that particular segment, the automobile segment, and it's going to grow big in the coming year.
Okay, and how important is Muhurt trading as we enter Samvat 2078?
एब्सोल्युटली. सो मुहूर्त हो शब्द जो आसा वीच मिन्स ऑस्पिशियस टायम. ऑस्पिशियस टायम अशें म्हणटात की स स 15 मार्केट ओपन जाता मुहूर्त ट्रेडिंगा खातीर. वेरेज लक्ष्मीचें जें हें आसता तें चड आसता एट दॅट पर्टिक्युलर टायम. सो 6:15 to 7:15 द मार्केट वील बी देर टू इन्वेस्ट एंड यू कॅन डेफिनेटली इन्वेस्ट. आतां कशें आसा, अक्षय तृतीयेक जेन्ना आमी गोल्ड घेतात एज अ स्पेशल ओकेजन, सेम वे स्टॉक्स बीइंग अ एसेट क्लास you can purchase at Murtha trading. It's the best time.
So it is something like buying a gold. You buy stocks and
Correct.
Stay invested.
Correct.
Datta, thank you very much for joining and sharing such valuable thoughts. आय थिंक ह्या प्रोग्रामाच्या माध्यमांतल्यान जो वेळ असलो आमच्याकडे आणि जो ऑब्वियसली तो मुहूर्त असलो दॅट इज समवट 2070 द मुहूर्त ट्रेडिंगच्या स्पेशल कार्यक्रमा खातीर आमी हो केल्लो. ऑब्वियसली बरेचशे खूब आसा मार्केटान एक्सप्लोर करण्यासारखे, बट ह्या माध्यमांतल्यान जितके बेसीक आमी तुमकां सांगू शकता आसले तितके आमी सांगपाचो प्रयत्न केलो. दत्ता, थँक्यू व्हेरी मच फॉर जॉयनिंग.
थँक्यू व्हेरी मच फॉर इन्वायटिंग मी.
दिवाळेच्या निमतान तुमकां सगळ्यांक ऑब्वियसली म्हाज्या आणि दत्ता कडच्यान तुमकां सगळ्यांक दिवाळीची हुनहुनीत परबी. दत्ता,
तुमकां सगळ्यांक दिवाळीची हुनहुनीत परबी.
वेल, दॅट्स ऑल फ्रॉम मी. जशें हांवें तुमकां व्हेरी इम्पॉर्टंट गजाल सांगली की फायनान्शियल लिटरसी जे आमी उलयताले, ऑब्वियसली फायनान्शियल लिटरसी इज व्हेरी व्हेरी इम्पॉर्टंट आणि जितके यंग तुमी सुरवात करीत तितके ते बरे. तुमकां सगळ्यांक जेणे जेणे म्युच्युअल फंड म्हणा किंवा बाकीचे इवन इन्शुरन्स म्हणा किंवा युलिप्स म्हणा ह्याच्या वयच्यान तुमकां खबर आसतलें की यू हॅव टू इन्वेस्ट एट अ अर्ली एज सो दॅट यू कॅन गेट ह्यूज रिटर्न्स एज यू मे बी रिटायर ऑर एज यू कम क्लोज. दुसरी गजाल आसा की पेशन्स इज समथींग व्हेरी इम्पॉर्टंट. म्हणजे आयज जर तुम्ही स्टॉक मार्केटान जर तुमकां दिसलें की आपलो एक चल खंयच्या तरी हेजेर अकाउंट ओपन केलो, इन्वेस्ट केले, 100 रुपीजान तो शेअर घेतलो किंवा 10 रुपयान तो शेअर घेतलो आणि तो जर 5 रुपया जालो, दॅन ऑब्वियसली इट हॅज कम डाऊन टू 50% ऑफ युअर इन्व्हेस्टमेंट. डोंट पॅनिक बिकॉज यू हॅव टू वेट, बिकॉज द रिझन वाय यू इन्वेस्टेड इज बिकॉज यू नो द ग्रोथ स्टोरी, यू अंडरस्टँड द कंपनी. अंडरस्टँड करता जाल्यारूच इन्वेस्ट करा, बिकॉज इफ यू लूज युअर मे बी द इन्वेस्टमेंट मनी, ऑब्वियसली यू डोंट रिस्क युअर हेल्थ अँड लाईफ टुवर्ड्स दॅट इन्वेस्टमेंट. आणि इंडिया इज अ ग्रेट स्टोरी. जशें हांवें तुमकां सांगलें की इन 90s somebody told me that you have to be invested. I didn't took that advice. Over a course of time, even a couple of 2-3 years back, I was told by somebody that Sensex will touch 50,000. And I was like, maybe in couple of years, but no, it touched very fast. It has almost touched 60,000, and जसे दत्ता म्हणटा की maybe over a course of time it will touch a lakh of 1 lakh also. What you have to do is you have to understand, you have to stay invested, you have to have patience and have a long term goal. I wish you all a very happy Diwali. आणि जसे मुहूर्त ट्रेडिंगाच्या निमतान आणि लक्ष्मीच्या निमतान एक ट्रेडिंग ओपन करा अकाउंट अँड जस्ट सी, अंडरस्टँड, मिनिमम करा इन्वेस्ट अँड सी द ग्रोथ हाऊ इट हॅपन्स. तोपर्यंत खंय वचूं नाकात, पळयत रावात प्रुडंट.